Have you ever wondered which countries are off limits for British travelers due to extreme risks? From political instability to ongoing conflict, certain destinations present dangers that far outweigh their allure. Today, we're diving into the top 10 most dangerous countries for British travelers in 2024, where safety concerns are as pressing as the adventures they might offer. Whether it's because of severe humanitarian crises, high crime rates, or pervasive violence, these nations pose significant challenges for anyone daring enough to visit. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. 1. North Korea. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea (DPRK), is a highly restricted and isolated nation where travel is tightly controlled. The British Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office (FCDO) strongly advises against all but essential travel to North Korea due to the risk of arbitrary detention. Visitors are required to be accompanied by government-appointed guides at all times, which severely limits their freedom of movement. This strict surveillance and control extend to everyday activities, including photography and interactions with locals, where any deviation from approved conduct can result in severe consequences. 2. Iran. Iran presents a complex and challenging environment for British travelers, primarily due to its tense political relationship with the United Kingdom. The FCDO advises against all but essential travel to Iran because of the high risk of arbitrary arrest and detention. Recent geopolitical tensions have heightened the risk, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty and caution for travelers. While Iran is known for its rich history and cultural heritage, these attractions are overshadowed by the potential dangers faced by British nationals, including the threat of arrest based on political or social issues. 3. Yemen. Yemen is currently one of the most dangerous countries for British travelers due to its ongoing conflict, severe humanitarian crisis, and widespread disease outbreaks. The FCDO advises against all travel to Yemen because of the risks associated with violence, instability, and a collapsing infrastructure. The civil war, which has been ongoing since 2015, has led to a dire humanitarian situation with widespread famine and a lack of basic services, including healthcare and clean water. These conditions make travel not only hazardous, but also extremely challenging. The presence of various armed factions and terrorist groups further complicates the security situation. Groups such as Houthi rebels and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula (AQAP) have targeted both locals and foreigners, leading to frequent attacks and kidnappings. The lack of effective governance and ongoing conflict contribute to an environment where safety cannot be guaranteed. The combination of severe infrastructure deficits and high security risks makes Yemen a destination best avoided by travelers seeking safety and stability. 4. Somalia. Somalia's long-standing instability and security threats make it a challenging destination for British travelers. The FCDO advises against all travel to Somalia due to the high risks of crime, terrorism, and kidnapping. The country has been plagued by decades of civil war and political chaos, resulting in a lack of effective government control and the rise of militant groups. The Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, affiliated with Al-Qaeda, poses a significant threat, frequently targeting both local and international interests with attacks and bombings. The absence of stable governance and effective law enforcement means that ensuring visitor safety is nearly impossible. Additionally, Somalia's poor infrastructure and limited access to basic services, such as healthcare and clean water, further complicate travel. The widespread poverty and displacement caused by ongoing conflict create an environment where the needs of the local population often overshadow those of travelers. The extreme risks involved in traveling to Somalia make it a destination where caution is paramount. 5. Libya. Libya's political instability and security concerns present significant challenges for British travelers. The FCDO advises against all but essential travel to Libya due to the ongoing conflict, terrorism, and a lack of government control. Since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, Libya has been plagued by frequent clashes between rival factions and the presence of armed groups. These factors contribute to a volatile security situation where violence can erupt unexpectedly, posing severe risks to travelers. The country's infrastructure has been severely impacted by years of conflict, leading to widespread shortages of essential services like electricity, clean water, and healthcare. The collapse of public services and the pervasive violence make travel highly risky and difficult. Despite Libya's rich cultural heritage and historical sites, the extreme security risks and deteriorating infrastructure mean that traveling there requires thorough preparation and a high level of caution. 6. Afghanistan. Afghanistan remains a high-risk destination for British travelers due to its ongoing conflict, terrorism, and political instability. The FCDO advises against all travel to Afghanistan because of the significant threats posed by armed conflict, terrorism, and the return of the Taliban to power in 2021. The Taliban's strict interpretation of Islamic law and their hostility towards Westerners create a dangerous environment for foreign nationals. The security situation is further complicated by frequent attacks from various militant groups, making travel highly hazardous. The lack of infrastructure and basic services in Afghanistan exacerbates the risks associated with travel. Many areas suffer from limited access to healthcare, clean water, and essential supplies, which can significantly impact travelers' safety and well-being. The ongoing conflict has led to widespread displacement and poverty, creating an unstable environment where safety cannot be guaranteed. Despite Afghanistan's stunning landscapes and rich cultural history, the extreme risks involved make it a destination best avoided by most travelers. 7. Iraq. Iraq, particularly outside the Kurdistan region, presents substantial risks for British travelers due to its ongoing conflict, terrorism, and political instability. The SDDO advises against all but essential travel to Iraq because of the high risk of terrorism, armed conflict, and violence from various factions. The presence of ISIS and other militant groups has led to frequent attacks and security incidents, making travel in many parts of the country highly dangerous. The lack of infrastructure and public services further complicates the situation. Many areas have been severely damaged by conflict, leading to shortages of essential services such as healthcare, electricity, and clean water. The complex political landscape, with various armed groups and factions vying for control, contributes to an environment where violence and instability are common. Despite the relative stability in the Kurdistan region, the risks in other parts of Iraq mean that travel requires extensive planning and caution. 8. South Sudan. South Sudan is considered one of the most challenging destinations for British travelers due to its severe political instability and ongoing conflict. The FCDO advises against all travel to South Sudan because of the high risks associated with violence, ethnic conflict, and political turmoil. The civil war, which has been ongoing since the country's independence in 2011, has resulted in widespread displacement, poverty, and a dire humanitarian situation. The presence of various armed groups and militias adds to the security risks, with frequent attacks and clashes affecting both locals and foreigners. The lack of effective governance and infrastructure further complicates travel, with limited access to essential services such as healthcare and clean water. The extreme risks associated with travel to South Sudan, combined with the severe humanitarian crisis, make it a destination where safety and stability are major concerns. 9. Venezuela. Venezuela has become increasingly dangerous for British travelers due to its severe economic collapse, political instability, and high crime rates. The FCDO advises against all but essential travel to Venezuela, citing risks related to violence, civil unrest, and the collapse of public services. The country's economic crisis has led to widespread shortages of food, medicine, and fuel, resulting in increased crime and social unrest. 10. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic, CAR, is a high-risk destination for British travelers due to its ongoing conflict, political instability, and humanitarian crisis. The FCDO advises against all travel to CAR because of the severe risks associated with violence, crime, and kidnapping. The country has been plagued by years of conflict involving various armed groups, leading to widespread insecurity and a lack of effective government control. If you found this list eye-opening, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever traveled to a high-risk destination? We'd love to hear your experiences. Don't forget to subscribe to Rich Life Pro for more insightful content on global travel, lifestyle, and more.